She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance. I met her on Grafton Street, right outside of the bar. She shared a cigarette with me while...
Hey guys, so today's look is all about my glowy foundation routine. The last couple of looks that I've done were just like my bare minimum. So I really wanted to show you guys, how I achieve my glowy foundation look. And I of course started off the whole look with priming my skin with my favorite primer, which is the Baby Skin Pore Minimizer, just to fill in my rather large pores as usual. And then I was breaking out, which was a big pain in the ass. So I covered up all that redness with my green concealer, which is just from Physicians Formula, and I just dabbed it all over my redness, especially around my nose. And my cheeks were particularly red, and just covered up all of that mess, and then blended it out with my beauty sponge. And this is my favorite mix for my glowy foundation. It is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Magic, and then my favorite foundation, the Revlon Colorstay for oily skin. And I just mix those together. I do about a pump of the glow primer and then about 2 pumps of foundation, mix it together, and then just place it all over my face. And I really love this just because it gives my skin such a nice luminosity without going overboard. It's just the right amount to where like my skin looks healthy and glowy without looking like a grease ball, because I know that some primers like this that I've used before, like that have a sheen to it, definitely have the effect of making my skin just look like a hot oily mess. So I'm very careful with the products I use that give you that glow, just because my skin is already oily. And another tip that I'll do sometimes if I don't feel like using that glow primer is to mix my foundation with a little bit of rosehip oil, and it just gives your skin just this nice dewy fresh look. So if you guys have an oil like that, I would definitely recommend mixing it, especially if you have dry skin. And we're of course going in with my 3 favorite concealers, and I'm first taking that Master Concealer and covering up these freaking colony of zits that are on my chin. Guys, I swear I do not remember the last time I have broken out this much in one area, and it's so frustrating because it's right by your mouth where everyone looks, and you're just like, oh, I feel like you're looking at my chin, but okay, it's fine. God, it's frustrating. But I just use a light hand to kind of cover those areas as best I can. And then I'm going to take that lightest shade with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer and highlight under my eyes with the triangular shape as usual. And of course, highlighting my big ol' forehead just right there on the center, and down the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin as usual. I'm going in with the darker concealer for the Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm going to use that to contour the big ol' forehead that I have, as well as my cheekbones and under my chin, just to give me overall definition. Usually I just like to use powders whenever I'm contouring, just because that's my own personal preference, but sometimes if I want to look just a little bit more natural, I'll go ahead and use the cream contour instead, and I like it. I definitely have started to use it more. At first I was definitely, as you could say, a little scared of the technique just because I never used it that much, but as time went on I realized, it's really not that bad. It's really simple, and it's just the sort of thing that you have to practice with, and practice makes perfect. So I've definitely gotten a lot better. At first it was a rough mess to begin with, so I'm definitely happy with how this turned out. And I felt like it was looking a little muddy, so just to sharpen it up, I put a little bit of the lighter concealer just right under the contour, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend it out with my beauty sponge just to sharpen that up a little bit and just make my cheekbones look a little bit more cut. And next I'm going in with my two powders, the NYX Banana Powder for under my eyes and everywhere that I basically highlighted, just to really make those areas just pop out. And then my Revlon Colorstay to powder the rest of my face, excluding the cream contour, just because I want to refrain from making this look muddy. So what I'm going to do after I powder everything else is I'm going to take my Rimmel bronzer that I always use and use that to set my contour in place, just because I feel like I've noticed whenever I put a powder on top of that and then my bronzer powder, it tends to make it look very muddy or ashy, and it doesn't look great. So this is a technique that I would recommend if you just want to make sure that your contour just looks as best as it can. Like I said, I'm going to take my Rimmel Sun Bronzer and then my Hoola Bronzer. And what I'm going to do with the Hoola Bronzer after I'm done with the Rimmel to bronze the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Hoola Bronzer to just really define my cheekbones and just go in there to make it look really cut and to just give it kind of a shadowy effect. And of course, taking my favorite blush palette by E.L.F, I'm going to take the darkest pink and just plop that on my cheeks and make sure to blend it out well. And I'm going to take my big fluffy powder brush to blend together my blush and my contour. And then my lovely Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop. As you can see, I clearly hit pan with this because it is my favorite highlighter. And I definitely need to go and get a new one, but I'm going to highlight the high points of my face. And I love the Becca highlighters just because they are so pigmented and they give such a nice glow, and literally the smallest amount goes the longest way, and I think that's why I love their highlighters so much, just because a little does last you a long time and it just looks so refreshed, and I love this highlighter so much. And I am taking my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette and I'm taking that lightest shade and setting my eyelids with this. And then I'm going to go in with the kind of caramely brown. I forget what it is, but I'll label all the colors below just to define my crease after I've set everything. I really wanted my eyes to not be too dramatic. I just wanted to add a little bit of definition to my crease and to give it just a little bit of bronze. But I really just wanted to focus on making this a warm glowy look and then putting in just a simple liner with the darkest brown. And I really like lining my eyes with the powder like this just because it makes it look more so effortless, but I just love it because it's so simple and you look so put together, but it doesn't involve having to whip out the classic like black eyeliner and going through all that. It's just filling in your lash line and then adding a little wing at the end. I love it just because it's the most simple thing, but it makes the biggest difference. And I love doing this all the time just because, you know, it really just, it enhances the shape of my eye and it makes my eyes just pop out. And I really love doing this a lot. And of course I bring some of that shadow underneath my lash line, and then I'm going to take the marzipan color, I believe, in that palette, and then I'm just dabbing it on the center of my eyes and bring it into the little inner corner just a little bit, just to brighten it all up. And then I am highlighting my inner corners of my eyes, you know, just to bring some attention and to really brighten up my eyes all together. And my least favorite part of the whole routine is working on my freaking brows. And I just, God, I just don't like doing my brows. It's just so frustrating to me. So usually I don't make long clips of me doing my brows just because it takes me forever. Like I think it literally took me about 10 minutes to do my eyebrows this time. And they just never come out the way I want them to. And whenever I'm not filming is when they come out perfect. So I've just decided that, you know what? I need to not do my brows on the camera. I need to do them before and they'll look fine. But I'll just fill them in with the powder end and then I'll define them with the pencil end on the other side. And then I'm going to take my Ulta brow gel and just make sure that they're set in place and aren't going to budge. And next is curling my lashes, of course, and it kind of freaks me out at times. And then this time I'm going to go in with 3 different mascaras. Originally I was just going to use 2, but I used the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, and guys, this stuff is amazing. I love it so much. And I was initially just going to use this one and then one of the other ones, but I was like, you know what, why not just use all 3? Why not just go for it? But I love this mascara. It makes my lashes so long and so full, and this was just after 1 coat too. But I love this stuff, and I got the waterproof and blackest black, but I was like, God, why is everyone making like such a craze about this mascara? And so I finally tried it and I was like, oh my God, I understand completely, because this is the shit. I love it so much, so I highly recommend y'all getting it. And then, as I said, I'm just going in with my other 2 mascaras because, you know, why not? There are no rules when it comes to makeup, so you can use as many products as you want. And a little tip that I have for you guys, whenever you get some mascara on your eyelid or on your nose or wherever it ends up being, let it dry. Do not touch it when it's wet, just let it sit there, make sure it's dry, and then take a Q-tip and gently take it off. And it'll come straight off without smudging the mascara on your face, making everything black. And then I'm going to just fill in my lips with lipsticks. I will link them below. I forget what I used. And then, of course, setting my face with my favorite Badescu spray and just waving it down. And that is it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.